everyone, Tony D with another hot take, and this hot take is about D&D Survival. If you're home cooped up and you're finally taking this seriously, I know a lot of people didn't, it's time to really evaluate how long you could stay in the stay in your place, and what the future may hold for you. And the way I sort of organize things in my brain is I often do it like I used to do with D&D characters. And the reason you do that is because a D&D character doesn't get bored. A D&D character doesn't get sick of eating the same thing over and over. And it's a way to sort of fine-tune your survival mechanism, if you would. So, first off, step one, don't leave your house. Don't leave. Don't go out. You need to limit your exposure to the beer virus, and stay in a place that you're limiting your exposure. In other words, so you shouldn't be going to the supermarket every other day. It's just insanity. You should be trying to get your supplies, or you should have gotten them all in one big run. Now we're at the point where they're rationing things over at the supermarket. But they're not rationing them through Amazon. And if you get to, like I said, one of these stores that's less visited, like a drugstore or something that sells food, I have one in my neighborhood that's pretty. If I'm gonna go to a place and hit it for some just basic supplies, I'm probably gonna hit that place. They may be out of stuff, but if they're not, there's hardly going to be anybody in there, and that's a big factor. You also want to wear a mask and gloves if you have them. A lot of people are saying, oh, masks, they're not going to do anything. Listen, there's already a study. We Are Change cited it, and the study basically says that in areas of the world where people wear masks on a regular basis, flu season and stuff like this is less transmittable. People get sick less because it's part of the culture now. So part of the reason I think they're saying don't wear a mask is they don't want to burn up all the masks for medical people, which, I get that. That's fine. Doesn't mean you can't get masks still. If they're selling them in stores, they're obviously not going to the hospital. If you can find any, or if you have any from mowing the lawn or any kind of activity like that, wear something over your face. At the very least, if you have something, you're keeping other people from getting it. But it also protects you to a certain degree. It'll limit your exposure. If you're in a crowd and someone sneezes and they've got the beer virus, you might still get infected, but you'll be less infected than the rest of the people without a mask. Same thing with gloves. And you gotta assume everything outside your place is contaminated, and you have to act appropriately. You have to get rid of your clothes and wash them. You have to wash yourself. You got to worry about your hair. So you really just got to jump into the shower. You got to clean your phone, clean your glasses, clean everything. Don't mess around with this. Same thing with the stuff you purchase. So when you look at your supplies, and you should take inventory of your food and calculate at least roundabout how much food you have to last for the next 2 to 4 weeks. I would go for 4 weeks. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to last at least a month inside. Now, some of you may not be able to afford that. You're freaking out about money. Look, the money situation is going to be tight either way. And you could certainly do things online to alleviate some of that, or at least sort of try to get your resume out there or whatever. But the thing is, nobody's going to hire right now. Nobody's going to reopen their business right now unless they're very specific. And you need to take care of your health first, even if you're going to go spiraling into debt for a while. Because you're probably going to be in debt either way you look at it. And the worst thing in the world would be for you to be sick and be in debt. So take care of your health first. That's number one priority. Second priority is the food. Inventory your food. Knowledge is power. and get a roundabout estimate of how long you could last before your food's going to run out, and you're gonna run out of key components like proteins or fruits and vegetables. I already undercalculated my vegetable situation and my fruit situation. I'm trying to alleviate that with some of the Amazon ordering, but that's hard to do because there are only certain things you can get through Amazon, especially now that the pantry is essentially closed. But that's limiting my exposure. And if you do have to go out or get something from Amazon, you got to treat it like contaminated stuff. You got to bring the box in to a spot in your kitchen that you can wipe down after you remove the box. You have to remove each item, clean it with some kind of Clorox wipe or whatever to disinfect it. You have to set it aside in a clean area that you can set aside for a while. You get rid of the box, you clean the area, you clean everything the box touched, your hands, doorknobs that you touched moving the box. You got to really treat it like everything you touch could potentially give you this beer virus. And if you take those precautions and you manage not to get sick, even if you come out to the end of this 2 or 3 weeks from now and your financial situation is not so great, you should be able to recover from that. There's always credit cards. The government's throwing you a bone. You can't be evicted right now, or for a couple of months anyway. And I would think that most landlords, unless you were on thin ice to begin with, are probably going to cut you a break. Hopefully, everybody's just going to cut everybody else a break in this mess. Now, some people, it just won't happen. You're gonna fall on hard times, but if you fall on hard times, at least you got your health. At least you survived this ordeal. A couple of things you could do during this time is catch up on your sleep. A lot of people who work, they're always sleep deprived. It's a perfect time. Get lots of sleep. Rest up. That may be hard when you're under stress, but it's a good time to do that. Just sleep. You could also maybe, because you sleep late, you could skip a meal. Try not to snack all day. That's bad for you anyway. But particularly now that you're trying to keep your food supply high, unless you're bursting with food that's going to go bad, there's no reason to just snack it all away. If you do buy food, try to buy food that's going to last in packages and cans that you can wipe down. If you're going to get fresh food, you're probably going to have to go out. It's the only way to get it. But you can get fruits and vegetables in a can. It's maybe not as healthy, but there is some health in that. So try to stay healthy and try to look at this like a D&D character, because D&D characters, they don't suffer. They don't whine about running out of a special mustard that you like, or whine that you're bored or whatever. You have to put that stuff aside. And if you think of yourself as one of these characters and just, organize the survival portion of it for yourself that way, I think you'll be better off. And I'm not saying act like a robot or anything, but you can at least be at the point where you can start calculating your exposure, sort of. If you have to go out, and you can limit your exposure. That's the key. Limit your exposure as much as possible. Social distancing, of course, and all these other practices of the government's saying. Just do your best. Try not to get sick, because you have to also think too. Even if you're a tough guy and you say, screw it, I'm not afraid. You have to worry about the other people you may expose by getting yourself sick. That if you don't have compassion for yourself, at least have compassion for your fellow man. Spreading it around more is just going to make the length of time that this quarantine goes on go longer and longer and longer. There are people kicking themselves now for not listening to it in the beginning. Only now are people they're treating it pretty seriously now. There's videos going around of nurses crying about taking care of patients who are in critical condition. People have died. People there are doctors online talking about how awful the disease is and what it does to you. So take these warnings seriously. People have died in their apartments. People who were young and nobody expected them to die. So you have to take these warnings seriously. So but don't get depressed. If you're smart and you treat this seriously, we're all going to come out of this. I believe. Most of us will. And at the end of all this, there's hope. I mean, there's total hope. People will get back to work. They'll rebuild their lives. It may take a year or two, but it'll happen. It'll happen. It always is darkest before the dawn, as they say, and other cliches. It's true. I used to, when I freelance, sometimes I'd be running out of work and I'd be freaking out for a few days, and I'd just be so bummed and frustrated, and then email a job that paid a ton of money, and then suddenly I was happy as a clam. And it can turn around. It can turn around on an email. It can turn around on a phone call. It can turn around on a dime. So don't worry about that for now. Hopefully you have a little money. You can burn through your savings and worry about how you're going to pay for things down the road. You can run up your credit a little bit during this crisis, and just plan on being in for a couple more weeks at least, and try to take advantage of being inside and being in your house. Clean your yard or do those home projects you're always putting off, because at least it'll give you something to do during this time. And don't listen to the celebrities. Those guys are social butterflies. They're used to being out and about. And if you're a social butterfly, you can always go online and talk to people or play video games. But try not to get too bummed out or crazy. This is a time you're just going to be in for a couple of weeks, and it's going to happen to everybody. So, and for the doctors and nurses working out there, I know everybody's saying it, but I'll say it too. Thank you for your sacrifice, and all the people still working out there, shipping stuff. Thank you to the Amazon workers bringing me my food. You guys are awesome. And thanks for watching this channel. If you need to pass the time and are looking for a book to read, Wokeistan, a novel, or you can check out my other books, The Pineys, books 1 to 4. 4 is out now in ebook form, and you can click the links in the description. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.